This one I have a story on. This is the Smith Sampler. It's a big one. See if I can hold it back, get it in the screen. Smith Sampler. I started this one January 1 of 2021. I was real excited to start it. I did improvise and change the whites to a whiter white, pearl white. But the reason I stopped and finished it 2 years later was that this was cut, as you can see on this side. I had plenty of room when I started right here. I had plenty of room, and look how it gets tighter and tighter here. Whoever cut this fabric didn't cut it straight, and it made me mad, and I put it away for a while. I put it in timeout for a long time until I figured out how I was gonna, because I used Q-snaps, and the Q-snap wasn't enough room for the Q-snap at the bottom, so I figured a different way, and I finished it. So I'm glad I finished it. This is a sweet little quick stitch. Catherine Dickinson, 1840. It's by Scattered Seed Samplers. I used 40 count Dusty Road from Seraphim Fabrics and the Call for Floss, except I used Gentle Arts Ruby Slippers for the red. This was one of the first ones I did when I came back to cross stitching in 2020. I think I did it on 14 count Ada. It's Gerald from Kathy Barrick. You really can't go wrong with Kathy Barrick. Beautiful. It's going to look really pretty in a frame. This one is Pink Sparrow Sampler. With needle and thread, I did it on 30 count parchment linen, and I did make some substitutions. If you're interested, you can DM me on Instagram, and I'll get back with you on what they were. Now I did the 2020 Pandemic Sampler from Sarcy Girl, and she's got some cute other patterns out there, and this is one of them. This is Raven's Flower Bowl, a Sarcy Girl, 32 count flax linen, and I used my own palette of silky threads. And again, if you're interested in what those were, just let me know. Great piece. And I think I've got a frame for that already. I just need to frame it. This is the Friendship Sampler. Okay, I saw that Lori Holt was doing this. Whenever she has a Flosstube up, I just love it. So I saw she was doing this, and I loved her conversion. So I used her conversion, and I stitched it on 32 count Winter Moon linen. So this was Friendship Sampler by Maura Blackburn. Need to get this one done for the summer. Who doesn't love this? This is Salute to Abigail by Blackbird Designs. I found it in the Sweet Land of Liberty book. I used 36 count raw natural linen. And I have noted that I used Weeks Dye Works grits, blue jeans, Michael's navy, and Turkish red. And I think maybe I got that conversion of colors from Celeste Creates. I saw hers and loved it, and I wrote down what she used, and I did that. Here is Anna Omen. This is my first start for a red wall. This is Anna Omen, 1873 by Leela Studio. I stitched it on 36 count antique ivory linen. And I used the Sulky 12 weight cotton. The thread number is 1181. Really love it. Another red one. Chrissy at Finally a Farm Girl, she let me know about a stitch along that was going on for Hands Across the Sea piece called Elizabeth Garrett at $17.99, and she thought I might want to do it. We've talked about, her son and my daughter both having disabilities, and so she thought I might want to do it in honor of Elizabeth, and I did, and it really kind of took on a life of its own. I ended up doing it in red for Elizabeth instead of green, and I did it on 36 count light mocha linen, and I used licorice red floss from Classic Colorworks. I made major changes to this. I put my daughter's name down there. I put her year of birth and death. I changed the bottom to kind of cut it off differently. I also, in the very middle there, you can see I put an angel. That was not there. There was a big crown there. And although I think, my Elizabeth was a queen, she really was. We call her our sweet angel. And so our sweet angel needed an angel there. So thank you, Chrissy, for letting me know about that. I have been a member of Teresa Koga's Patreon since it began, since the first month. I'm a tier 4 now, so it's well worth the money. I think I pay $20 a month, but you get 3 or 4 patterns every month. There's never a bad one. Teresa, everything she does is great. And she also started a stitch along last year. But here's one of the patterns that was in our monthly Patreon. It's called Gather. And this ended up being in a book called Gather that she released in March of last year, 2022. So I did that on 36 cream and sugar by Fiber on a Whim and the call for DMC. I'm talking about Teresa Koga. The stitch along that she did last year, it's called Strawberry Manor, and we did it monthly with her. She gave us each part, came out on the 15th of the month, and we stitched it, and she ended up releasing that pattern, Strawberry Manor, this year at March at the market, Needlework Market here in Nashville. So Strawberry Manor. So that stitch along is for tier 4 Patreons only. I did it on 36 count light mocha linen and all the call for flosses. Again, I put these in no order, but last year I was on a Teresa Koga binge. I just really did everything I could Teresa Koga. I loved everything. This is Newcastle Bouquet. I started this in 2020 and then ended it in 2022. It took me a while. I started on an 18 count hand-dyed unknown linen or even weed, it looks like, and the call for flosses, although I had to sub the white. I don't know if it's I'm getting older or whatever, but the whites I don't see as well, and so the pearl white that I found, CNC's pearl white, is just really the whitest that I can see. So I did change that. But I did 2 over 2, and it was so tight. That's why it took me so long. I wouldn't do that again. This one's Let Love Abide by Lottie Dot. This would be great coming in the front door, seeing on a wall. Just really a nice design, and in a nice big frame it would be just so lovely. I did it on 36 count flax linen with a call for flosses. This one is done by Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery. It's Mary Harry. It's 36 count, brown sugar linen by 5 on her whim, and I use my own conversion of flosses. So it's changed around a little with the flosses. This one is Winter is Past by Blackbird Designs. I really used an unknown 40 count linen that I had in my stash. Called for flosses, 1/2. Really pretty. Need to do a blue wall. This is another Blackbird Designs at What Remains. Did it when it first came out with traditional stitches in Canada. On 36 count antique ivory with a call for flosses. It's another Teresa Koga, Come to the Garden. I originally held back on doing this because of the angel. I'm really funny about two things, angels and Adam and Eve samplers. I don't know, I just get freaked out a little bit about them. But I'm glad I did this angel because it's so cute in person. So Come to the Garden by Teresa Koga. Beautiful colors. Did it on 36 count Zweigart antique ivory linen and all the call for flosses. This is a Hands Across the Sea, Mary Clayton, 36 count lamb's wool linen and mostly call for DMC. And I changed a little bit on those angels blowing the horn, but you know. I loved doing that house. It was fun. There's another big favorite, Teresa Koga. I think it's everybody's favorite too. This is Land That I Love. Don't let those houses scare you. They really didn't take that long. Once you get the windows in, the door, you just fill in. The border wasn't bad. I really loved it. In case anybody wants to see the backs of mine, I'm not a great back person. I'm not perfect, but I do finish off my threads as I go. I hide them and tuck them under. I don't let things string out and wait till the last minute to do them. Anyway, that was done on 32 count platinum Lugana and mostly call for. I probably subbed for the white, for the pearl white. This is the Drawn Thread Welcome Autumn. And I really like just ordering directly from them because they send the whole kit. So this was their kit on 30 count antique lamb's wool linen with dinky dye silks. Need to take a drink here. When I first got back into stitching in 2020, I did a lot of following along Fat Quarter Shop. I'm not as much following along there now, but so many other things to do. But I do like Lori Holt's stuff, so I did this Prim Stitch series that you could get from Fat Quarter Shop. It's designed by Lori Holt. Let me get this better. This is terrible. I will learn. Pretty piece, and I thought I might put it in my, I still have my daughter's room set up, so I might put it in there. I did it on the 25 count Lugana, that's Lori Holt's fabric, and I used the Orifloss set that was sold. And this is a Kathy Barrick, Miss Martha's Potting Shed. I love this. It's on 30 count creamy white even weave, and I use the MPI silks. This was Deck the Halls by the Drawn Thread, 32 count platinum in my own DMC conversion. It's going to make a little pretty Christmas thing for my entrance hall. This is Welcome Winter by the Drawn Thread, and this is one of their best welcomes, I think. It's just so cute. And it came in the kit. This is Prairie School or Christmas Eve from their book number 158, I think. I did it on a 28 count Lugana in Icon and the call for DMC. And I don't think the color shown on the chart was this. It may have been a tan like color, but I liked it being blue for the blue sky. This is another Lori Hope piece. I follow along on Fat Quarter Shop. It is Kaleidoscope. She showed different colorways. I picked out from my sulky threads, I picked out 3 different blues. I did it on 32 count vintage smoky white. If you're interested in what the blues are, just DM me on Instagram. And this is another Lori Holt Flea Market Flowers. A lot of people have done this or are still working on it. This is Flea Market Flowers. Again, I did it on a Lori Holt fabric. Her 25 count barley, and with mostly the DMC call for. It's another Christmas one. This is from Cottage Garden. It's Peace on Earth. And it's one of the first ones I did back in 2020, so I didn't write down the fabric or the flosses I used. It's an even weave, some type. This last one I'm going to show you, this is the Suffragette by Little House Needleworks. I did this in 2020 when it came out. It's maybe a 16 count Ada, I'm not sure. But I modified this heavily. I modified the words. I wanted to show that 1920 was when the act was voted in, and that we were doing this in 2020 for the anniversary. So 19th Amendment. I just added a few things. And a couple of last things. This is, what is this? I'll show these next time. Show those next time. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of the pieces I've done. I hope you'll let me know some of your stitching meetups you've got going on. If you'd like to have a guest that I can travel to come see you guys, or if you have a local needlework shop that you think would be great for me to see. On the East Coast, we need to get some of those guys. You know, I'd go and video them and show. I'd love to go visit and just take a trip. So please let me know on that. Let me know anything else you'd like for me to show or tell you about. I'm pretty much an open book. But I will come back and show you all my whips on the next Flosstube. So please subscribe so you'll get to know when that pops up, because I'm not sure what day it'll pop up. I really enjoyed this, and I hope everybody else enjoyed it too. Bye-bye for now.